What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and I am with IamIsom, and it's Trendy Friday Fun.
How's it going, dude?
Oh, good. Nothing like a excuse to get up early in the morning and play some DD2. I got that late night thing going on. This is early for me.
This is early for you. It's impressive.
I usually get up around 1 p.m.
I wanted today to be a day like that. I felt awful this morning, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I had like 2 pots of coffee, and then I just had a whole bag of popcorn for lunch, which is not healthy, but it made me feel better.
Hey, nothing wrong with a little popcorn and coffee, you know?
Oh, God. Just saying that out loud sounds so awful. Delicious.
So I'm waiting for, I'm forcing someone to come and build for me today. That way I can focus on chat, and hopefully, you know, of course we all wanted to have a little bit more info before the stream today, but we all understand, you know, it's available when it's available.
Yeah, there should be a new blog probably about an hour or so after the stream is over on our website.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to be talking a little bit more about the new enemies and new difficulties coming in the patch, so that'll be good.
That's awesome. I'm excited for it. I know a lot of people are pretty stoked, but I've gone on a little bit of a survival game kick while I was kind of waiting for the update. And every time I load up one of these other games, I instantly think, I don't have enough gold. What am I doing? And I hop back in, and I've got a bit of a spending problem. I like to spend the gold. And, yeah, I've had to put that on halt here while we're waiting for, waiting for the update to come.
I can't get into survival games. I tried this really weird ass like early access game. I forget, it's like survival something. Savage Lands, there it is. Of course it's going to be survival or savage or something, but
absolutely.
It was okay. It was okay for like an hour or two, and then I was like, I'm not a big fan of a game where like the goals are so open-ended. I don't know. I guess when I play a video game, I kind of want more guidance, but that's like a personal preference.
Right.
It was a fun enough game, but just, I don't know.
There's a lot of good games out there right now, and the survival genre, I mean, although it was a lot of fun for a minute or two, I think it kind of took a little hit with all of the griefing and all in like Ark and Rust and some of those types of games, because the games are really kick-ass. And then, you know, I mean, I've been on both sides of the griefing before, so I can't really say. But
then you've got that new Conan game. Have you seen that?
I have.
I have. Did you see the certain slider that you can use?
Oh yeah.
Kotaku's piece on that was hilarious.
Well, you know, I like in Age of Conan. I mean, there was a reason I chose all female players.
Oh man, maybe one day I'll break down and I'll pick up Conan and play that. And there's actually Elandrian is all about Conan as a series, so he's been going on about that game. So maybe I'll check that out.
Well, it looks like my guy is having a hard time booting up or something. Maybe Steam's giving him some problems too, so I'm just going to go ahead and start a game.
I think you're going to have to DPS solo carry, no builders, Nightmare 4. Show us all how it's done.
You know, it can be done.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Dang. That's impressive.
And
does it have to be like gates or something? Or
there's certain maps. Life Route is actually the easiest, or Forest Poachers.
Of course, it's Life Route.
That one, you know, I mean, that was the grinder forever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's still, I mean, it's a really fun map. I like the maps there that you can, you can shut it down to one lane. There's Omni. So guys,
There's actually... Oh, go ahead.
I created a public game there, Trendy Friday Fun. Feel free to hop on in.
There is a certain element of zen when you just farm a map that's like you kind of know you're going to win before you get in, and you just set it up, and it's like very comfortable. I don't know,
yeah.
There's definitely I love the element of challenge in the game, but sometimes like after a stressful day of work, I just want to like pull up an easy map and just crush everything.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's just something to be said about, when you can shut it down to a small area like that, having, just the amount of diversity and just the amount of face smashing that you can get all into one spot,
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the rain. I don't know if you can hear it. Not only do I live in the Pacific Northwest here, but I've got a flat roof. And,
is it tin as well?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's days, there's actually been days where I was live streaming that I just had to mute it and put music on. It was so bad. Today we're not expecting anything like that, but I think there probably will be a little bit of background noise going on for sure.
Yeah, my house has like a loft. I don't think you can call it a second story. It's like a loft. And so that's where my desk is, because I work from home, and I'm right below that tin roof. So like sometimes we'll be having meetings and I just can't hear anything.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, all right, guys, you've got this one.
Absolutely. So anyway, wanted to, first off, thanks for having me for Trendy Friday Fun. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been kind of kicking around the idea internally of having community guests on anyway. And so when you reached out to me and was like, hey, it'd be fun if we did like a Q&A on the stream, I was like, yeah. It'd be kind of, everything kind of worked out. Everything kind of lined up to do something like this. So hopefully people like it. Hopefully people appreciate it.
Absolutely. So those of you just joining in, IamIsom, now don't hold them to it, because it's only 99%. But about roughly 1 hour after the stream ends, we could potentially be getting another blog update on the DD2 website. Which, I mean, come on, who's got the auto refresh going already?
I will warn you, there's no release date yet, but I can talk a little bit more about where the patch is right now. So I believe. Oh, go ahead.
I think really I mean, if everyone had a list of questions that they'd want to ask you or Blacksmith or somebody, I'm pretty sure the question on everybody's list is, when's it coming? And I'm sure you get that about 1,000 times a day.
1,000 is a slow day. But yeah, I can share a little bit more about this. It'll be in the blog as well. So you guys are kind of hearing it first. So right now, we are finishing up implementation of all the features of the patch, and we're moving on to the testing and the bug fixing phase. So if you guys don't know, essentially the way our milestone works is that 2/3 to 3/4 of it is implementation of features, and then the final, third to fourth is where we go back and fix all the bugs that we created during development. Because you don't just put something in perfectly; it obviously creates bugs. So that's where we're at right now. Is deep in not deep. We just began the testing and bug fixing phase. I believe the community playtesting group, the remote playtesting group, got their first build last weekend, I think, and we've already iterated based on that feedback. Which is fantastic. A special shout out to everybody on the RPG and the RQA who's playing this update right now and giving us feedback on it. It's a massive update. There are a lot of things that are changing. Obviously new features. There's new balance as well because of those new features, and just obviously some new balance changes altogether. So we don't have a release date right now. We wanna try to make sure that it's as good as it can be before we put it out there. So Hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll have a release date for you. And once we do, we'll share it on the blog. But yeah, as of right now, if you're excited about the update, that's awesome. And if you are super eager and you can't wait and you want to give us feedback, then you should definitely join our RPG. And I can put the email in afterward. And then you can help us test it and make the update awesome. That's the dream.
Heck yeah. Well, I mean, this, oh man, I know you all can hear that now. It is just pounding. Good Lord. Anyway, for me anyway, a big part of the fun with something, so massive coming to the game is right now in the guessing. I mean, it definitely is what makes it exciting. So, obviously I want to start playing it today. But on that same note, I understand that, it's for the best long term.
Yeah, I mean, we're all gamers. We obviously love the guessing part of an update as well. I mean, we want to tell you as much as you need to know in order to prepare you for large changes. And that's part of the reason why we put out some of this information earlier than we normally would for an update, just because honestly the game is changing in pretty major ways. Probably the biggest change to the game that's happened throughout the early access period. So we want to make sure that you guys are prepared, and we've got today's blog obviously coming out. I believe the next blog is going to be about just kind of crystallizing how you can prepare for the update, because we've talked about it on dev streams and we kind of talked about it in individual conversations, but we haven't really come out with a single post that says, hey, here's what you can do in the meantime to prepare for this update.
Right.
Mostly because
absolutely,
we're still finalizing some of those details, but hopefully we'll have that for you soon, and you guys can know exactly what you need to do.
That's what I get quite a few messages every day of people asking what to do, and I mean, everybody knows you can't go wrong with farming gold, defender medals. I mean, defender medals are still the earnable premium in-game currency, and there's been no sign of that going anywhere. So get your heroes unlocked that you don't have unlocked, and get to that cap. I've been penny pinching the gold so much lately. I actually was at the defender medal cap and I blew all of it upgrading just random pieces that I don't even use. So it's amazing how fast 12,000 defender medals can go, but oh yeah, they can go quick. So anyway, why don't we get some questions going here? And I wanted to of course I had my questions at the top of the list.
Oh, of course.
But one of the things that I've been really curious about the whole time, and there hasn't been a whole lot of info about it yet, is with the relics switching from their old piece of existence to their new, slottable item. Are they essentially staying the same piece with the passives removed? Or are we going to get a taste of, some of the new stats like defense speed or defense range with rerolls to our existing gear?
So that's a great question. I can't answer that with 100% precision at the moment, because right now we're implementing all of the systems to convert existing to new. I believe we're working on. I know that we were working on that yesterday and the day before, so I don't know if we finalized that yet. The goal right now is for your medallions and totems to keep their stats, but for rings to be rerolled into. Obviously, rings are hero stats, and all relics are becoming defense relics. So rings would be rerolled into a different combination of stats. I forget off the top of my head what rings are primarily. We've got medallions as primarily power and totems as primarily defense health.
Right.
I forget what rings are.
I think they said rings
we've
were...
added in.
think they said rings were defense range.
That makes sense. Rings, defense range. We've added in a new relic. I think we're calling them spheres internally, which we need to change, obviously, because we already had something in the game called skilled spheres, which aren't in there anymore, but probably be a little bit confusing. So spheres would be speed, and then we have a new relic, which I think still doesn't have a final name, but we've been calling them skulls, but they look like X's, and those were crit. So yeah, that's speed, range, power, health, and crit. Yeah, so those are the 5 relics right now. We're actually iterating a little bit internally with the RPG, so that is likely to change. But the idea would be that you've got your totems and your medallions, and as of right now, those would stay the same, and then rings would get re-rolled into the range relic. But yeah, keep an eye out for that blog that's going to talk more about that, because some of that's a little bit in flux right now, so we'll see. It shouldn't... I mean, you would probably have... those rings would probably give you the new stats, but I don't imagine your medallions and totems getting the new stats unless that changes.
Okay, fantastic. So Partech asked here, from what we saw in last week's dev stream, it appears that magic resist, or at least the icon for magic resist, is gone. Do you know if physical and magic resist are being changed into one stat?
Yes, they are being changed into one stat. It's just called armor, and I don't think we've come out with the specific details on that yet. But essentially, it's a way to we're changing some of the resistance formulas so that you're going to need armor stat, because it's going to be based on the enemy level that comes out. So you're going to want higher and higher armor stat, and then when you go back to a lower difficulty, you should be, I don't think you should be godlike, but you should be scaled over them based on your armor stat. I forget exactly how the resistance formula is set up right now, but yeah, it's more about the armor you have versus the enemy level coming out. So when you get higher eye power for that whatever X difficulty that you're in, it should help you survive more and more.
Okay.
So yeah, magic physical resists are being merged into one thing called armor.
Very nice. So another question that got asked here from Double Switch is, do you know what role pets will be playing in the update? So are pets going to be like hero power only? Or are they going to be able to keep their their current flavor of stats and abilities?
That is another great question. So as of right now, we're not touching pets. So pets, unless that changes by the time the update comes out, pets will continue to have the stats that they have. We do have a bigger update planned for pets, which is why we're not touching them right now, in which I can't talk about that just yet, but pets won't be, will remain as they are right now when the update comes out.
Okay, awesome. So Sidewalk threw it in, and I was trying to space out my questions and not be all greedy. But my question number 2, and Sidewalk's talking about it in chat now, is the introductory shards we get on day 1. Will we all get like a basic kit, or is there going to be, like, if say someone has 4 heroes and someone else has 20 or 30 heroes, will the player with 20 or 30 heroes get more of those introductory shards?
I wish I could answer that right now. Maybe there's a blog coming out soon that will explain in detail what you're gonna get. There are some things I can talk about right now, though. Sidewalk used complementary with an E. I want to clarify that it should be complementary with an I, as in they're going to be given to you for free. Complementary. With E, that implies that it's based on precisely what you have, which is not the case. It's going to be probably based on some other things. So you shouldn't expect that your passives that you have right now are going to get rolled into an equivalent shard. because it's just not what we can do from what I understand. But yeah, we'll be talking about all of that. We're going to try to make sure that top tier players are still top tier after the update, because obviously you've spent time in the game. So we're trying to kind of balance out, making sure that players are happy when we transition to the new system, and also just trying to make sure that the game is in a better place. So it's always a little tricky when an in-development game makes such big changes like we're making right now. But hopefully you guys like what we do, and we'll be talking more about that in a future blog.
Okay. Void's got a good question here for a lot of players that have the 16 Lava Mancers or the 8 Dryads or whatever the case is. Will there be any way to sell those hero slots?
So no, not at the moment, but there is possibly some confusion that I can clear up right now. The purpose of the defense relics and hero gear and all the changes that we're making is to make sure that you can both damage, be a hero, and build defenses at the same time. The goal is not to necessarily stop you from being super awesome at one thing. I believe you'll still have that option available to you. So those who are thinking that they'll no longer need, multiple of the same hero is probably not exactly the case. The goal is just to make sure that the base fantasy of the game, which is that you're playing a tower defense game in which you yourself are a mobile tower, that you have multiple abilities, you're able to move around and interact with the enemies as they're coming down the lane. That's the core fantasy of Dungeon Defenders, and we just want to make sure that that core fantasy is achieved in a single hero. So
awesome.
If you have any more questions about that, I think Blacksmith would be able to answer it a little bit more in detail. But yeah, that's kind of I've been seeing some comments about that online. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, it really makes sense, and that was kind of what I've been assuming the whole time. I didn't, I got a little carried away on the Dryad. I've got 6 Dryads, and I'm really hoping that I can't find a way to use all 6 of them, to be honest with you, because it was 24 hours a day, many weeks to gear 6 different Dryads, and with the 3 shards per relic, it definitely seems like it's set up for some customization where you can do different things.
Yeah, I imagine that with the combination of the relic you choose to place on your defense, plus the 3 shards you can attach to that relic, plus the ascension powers that you're going to be able to invest into, that players will still probably find a need, or not a need, there would be a desire to have multiples of the same hero. And obviously that's your choice to make, but that is I still see that being the case after the update.
Awesome. So Mirror's Edge is asking about inventory. Now, if I'm understanding inventory correctly, if you take your total number of bag slots you have now and you round up to the nearest 60 multiplicative of 64, is that correct?
Let me think for a second to make sure that's accurate.
So say if you had 2 12-slot bags, that would turn into 1 64-slot bag?
Yes, I believe so. Now, I believe everyone is going to start with 2 bags as of right now. So, yeah, you're talking about what you've purchased on top of the default bag space that you've been given, correct?
Right.
Because you're by default given 4 bags of 16, if I recall correctly. So everyone, if you didn't buy any, the idea is that you're getting equal or more than what you currently have.
That was the way I read it, and I know that's what a lot of people have been saying out there. So I was assuming that was right, but with the inventory revamp, that's going to be a thing of beauty. Yeah,
hopefully. Sorry, just to clarify, that is our goal. And if there is a case out there in which you did not get equal or greater, and we didn't explain that beforehand, please come to me, because really with all of these system changes, our goal is to make sure that like we're being as painless as possible. Obviously, there's just going to be some pain when you transition from one system to another. But that's our goal. That's what we're talking about. So, but the inventory revamp is pretty sweet. I'm digging that a lot. There are a lot of awesome features. You can lock items now, which is fantastic. You've got greater control over auto collecting items. You can designate certain bags to auto collect, all of your worn, sturdy, and powerful BS gear that you can just go in and with like a click just sell all of your trash gear. You can even throw your epics in there if you want, if you think epics are trash, which they eventually become trash after a while.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I mean, people constantly give me a hard time about my inventory. I am one disorganized pack rat, so that is going to be a good thing for me for certain. So
there's still a lot of work on the inventory left to be done, though. That's kind of one of the bigger things we're testing right now.
All the little teasers for
UI,
it awesome.
Yeah, UI in our game is Unreal Engine does a lot of things very well, or at least Unreal Engine 3 does a lot of things very well. Native UI, from what I understand, is kind of a pain. That's why a lot of companies used Scaleform, which unfortunately we don't have. So that's kind of one of the trickier parts of the update right now is making sure that is good.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, everything I've seen so far, I'm excited about. I mean, there's been nothing at all. Of course, with any update and reading through the forums, there's always going to be someone that can find the thing they just absolutely hate about what they've seen so far. But I haven't found anything, and I mean, I'm not afraid to say, God, I hate this idea, and everything looks awesome to me. I mean, I'm stoked to see what we can do. And Ascension levels, I mean, the more we find out about that is going to be just nothing but a bonus, because that's something I've really been hoping has been added to the game for a long, long time now.
What about it excites you?
Well, I like there not being an end. I like the thought of continuing progression. Like right now, for example, in the state of the game, I personally might, with my heroes that I play now, I've got 37 level 50s. And with my 37 level 50s, I'm to a point with them all where I might get an upgrade maybe once every 2 months. And I basically have just been playing of late just for the fun factor, which of course is great, but also to to try to pad the bank account a little bit. But just the thought of nonstop progression and constantly having another goal to achieve really does it for me for certain.
Yeah, that's definitely a big goal for us in the update is trying to get that. Now, obviously, everything won't be infinite, but that's there are large steps being made in this update for sure. Which we'll be talking more about that, in the blog today. But
awesome, I'm excited to read it. Well, of course, it would not be a Dungeon Defenders 2 Q&A if there weren't at least 20 different people asking about the Barbarian.
Of course. So no, the Barbarian is not coming in this update. We decided to kind of put a new hero on hold to try to tackle all of these like wish list items that we've had for the game for a while. When is the Barbarian coming out, though, is the question to which I don't have an answer for. Like, when is it coming out? We honestly don't know. We're not talking about a new hero right now internally. We know that we'll do the Barbarian, but right now we're all just trying to get this update out, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, sounds fair to me. I mean, there's obviously with such major changes, it's going to be pretty tough to implement something else. But when you sit on this side of the fence, it's always easy to say, but I want this too.
Oh man, I know. We even do that internally. You know, we tend to try to push ourselves beyond maybe what we can actually do. I think this update is definitely our most ambitious update to date, in my opinion. I think that we are trying to do so much in one update, and it's coming together very well, thankfully. You know, it's always a little scary when we're like, oh, we want to do all these things, and we're what? But in one update, it's been exhilarating, honestly, to know that we're doing all of these things that we've wanted to do for so long.
There's definitely a lot of changes. I mean, obviously, we've only seen, a small part of what's to come, and just from what we've seen so far is pretty drastic changes. I mean, it's a lot of different stuff, and that's another one of the exciting things is we get the same game that we know, love, and have become addicted to, and we add in a whole new system, which really does, change. It'll change the playstyle for just about everyone out there. So I'm definitely stoked about that. So there's some talk about the Squire and the shield slot. Is the Squire still going to have that extra shield position?
Yeah, he still has a shield.
Okay. That's what I assumed. These trees and PDTs, they're started off solid. That's right. You can go. Omni has taken the PDT plus anything else are out.
We'll see how that works after the update.
I'm still, hopefully Elandrian didn't get too carried away with that turn number down button, because the mechanic of the PDT is awesome. I love it. It got to the point where it became such a, the grind meta that everybody was using. But I mean, the whole poison spreading and all that, I think it's cool as hell.
Yeah, I mean, like right now we're testing everything, so we'll see where they end up. What Elandrian did, from what I understand, was the initial pass on it.
Right.
I don't know if yeah, I'll go see how that is after the stream. But I mean, the goal is hopefully to make more things viable.
Absolutely.
As well as not making it so obvious what the choice is. I mean, I think that's the thing with community metas that are so appealing to me, which is, generally speaking, the developers don't sit down and say, oh, what is the meta? What are people going to do? It's generally driven by what the community decides and figures out. There's an element to it of like there's a bounce pass that is made, but usually it's the community who drives all of that. So like, it's really funny. I've said it before in previous streams, and it's a result of us rebalancing the PDT, but for the longest time, players wanted us to remove the PDT from the game because it was so awful. Like, we had it on a backlog list of like, okay, if we ever do revamp the Huntress, remove the PDT because everyone hates it.
Oh yeah.
But with some changes to both balance and like to the way it works, now obviously everyone loves PDTs for possibly the wrong reason, but
I remember
functionally I agree, pretty awesome.
I remember when the PDT made its transition to greatness, and the first time somebody told me, hey, you need to try out the PDT, I think I was probably rude to them. They're like, what, are you kidding me? Get out of here with that. And then now, of course, it turned into what it is today.
Yeah.
So Double Switch has got a question, wants a little more clarity on the inventory. So with the auto sell option, will you be able to auto sell based on, say, like what tier of the item?
So at the moment, we don't have an auto sell function in the game. What you can do with the inventory is that you can specify the auto collect to at the moment it doesn't do eye power, it does tier. So you can auto collect tier, and then it takes seriously like 2 seconds to go to your inventory and sell all of it. It's like open up, click the bag, sell all. So it should be much, much, much faster to get through all of that junk. Now with eye power, that's different. You would still need to, you can filter all of your gear by eye power, because you can now see everything that's in all of your bags at once with the all bags filter. And so you can select that and select eye power. And then obviously as you go left or right, there's a certain point and where you can see all of the eye power, and you can be locking items all the way through and then sell all after that and then unlock your items. So it's a little bit trickier with eye power if you're trying to sell all by eye power. But with item tier, it's definitely much easier.
Awesome. So there's quite a few questions about the Terraria items. Now I know Blacksmith talked about those last week and said that like those passives would be, they'd be upgradable but not removable. Mm-hmm. Do you know if there will be another tier of Terraria goods?
By tier, do you mean rarity?
Yeah, like or a higher item power with the, assuming there is a higher item power of gear. Mm-hmm. Will there be higher item power Terraria weapons available?
So,
like, will there be a purchasable?
Yes, there will be higher. There will be higher eye power in this update, and you'll learn about that very soon. As for the Terraria weapons, I can't say with 100% certainty, only because that conversation was ongoing as of yesterday, and I did not hear what the update is. As of now, I'm going to tentatively say yes, that you can find higher eye power versions of those weapons. Okay. But that's not a guarantee. I don't know where we ended up with that. There was some decisions to be made based on the new difficulties we're putting in, and what does that do for some of the other stuff in the game, like the Wayfarer gear.
I'm sure that a lot of people will just be happy to see that the Terraria stuff is staying in, which, obviously with all the work that was put into it, I couldn't see. Personally, I would have been shocked if it was removed anyway. But, that's a lot of fan favorite stuff, and it was definitely a successful crossover for sure.
Yeah, if we can. Obviously, the goal is to make sure that content all carries towards whatever we do, but the question would be, this update or not is kind of up in the air. Some things might have to wait for the next update to kind of finalize some of the things. But yeah, we'll see.
Awesome. So, and then Void is asking about the intended progression system. Will there be a way, other than what's already there with setting item power requirements for a brand new player just to get to level 50 and then hop into Nightmare 4?
So yes, we do have some features that we're hoping to put out that address that. I can't talk about them right now because we are heavily testing them to see how they feel. And once we figure out if they are definitely going in, then I'll be able to talk about them. But yes, that was one of our concerns when we sat down to figure out the difficulty element of the update. And there will obviously always be some way of somehow shortcutting, right? That's just the nature of loot-driven games. But we wanted to try to fix the situation where you could just jump straight into whatever it is higher than you're supposed to, and be shortcutting a lot of content.
Right.
That's it.
A lot of people don't realize that that's just so much of the fun of the game. Like, I personally, obviously I enjoy building out a map and just completely destroying it now. But on the same note, what really drew me into the game was starting when everything was hard. When there was a challenge and I didn't have everything unlocked, and just about every map was difficult to do. And, skipping that aspect of the game, you're really shortcutting yourself more than anybody else, as you're just missing out on a lot of enjoyment.
Yeah, for me, I love it when I think there's a very satisfying loop of content is too hard, but I can get through it barely, and then I can gear up and I can finally conquer it, and then I can crush it, and then I move on to the next one.
Oh,
It's really satisfying to like feel that like progression through a difficulty.
absolutely, no question. I still remember. I remember struggling with Life Root Forest on 25++ back 2 years ago, and being so stoked when I was able to complete 2 waves and get some loot. So I mean, it's a lot of fun, you know. I mean, that's definitely what draws you in, for certain.
Oh, man, I forgot about that weird playlist naming system. Incursions plus plus.
Oh yeah.
Super ultra hyper arcade. So weird.
So Saigon's asking down the road, will there be any way to change your cursor or aiming reticle that you're aware of?
So it's not in our plans. I believe that is a possibility. I mean, definitely not before our exit out of early access. But I think that is a possibility. But yeah, as of right now, no plans to do that. But I can certainly see why you'd want to do it.
Started off salads, just trying to poke me here with the machine gun cannonballs. I've made it pretty clear the first day of the update. I will be doing my best to get those machine gun heavy cannonballs, and hopefully being able to make them explode nicely too.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I'm pretty stoked. Pretty stoked about the different variations we'll be able to do that have yet to be available to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Drago's saying the game volume's a little high. I guess it doesn't help that I constantly spam Mega Shark.
Someone in your chat just asked if, or in your in-game chat, just asked if customizable crystals, will those ever be a thing again? At the moment, no. The crystals are all based on the lore of the map itself. The only issue with customizable crystals would be changing how they are based on the geometry of each map. Because I think some maps might actually make that really weird. I don't know, we'd have to look into it. I want them back. I miss them from DD1.
Oh, absolutely.
That was a fun little, unlockable option.
And then we got Zimmerman and Sidewalk asking about DU limits. Do you know if they're going to change at all, or will they remain the same?
So at the moment, there are no plans to change them. I understand that some people have been kind of frustrated at the lower DU limits, and I forget when we did that. It was a few updates back. I can mention it to the design team again, and we can keep an eye on it as we're testing out all the stuff that we're testing out now. But at the moment, no changes planned to DU limits.
Okay. And then Double Switch is asking, and they teased about it a little bit in the dev stream last week, but do you know any more solid information about, will there be like map-specific shard drops that are guaranteed or unique to a particular map?
So at the moment, maps themselves do not have specific or guaranteed shard drops.
Yeah, I think they're...
Yeah, I think I'm sorry. I was just double checking in my head. I don't believe so, but that's not a guarantee either. I just don't remember. I know that certain. Oh God, I wish that blog had come out beforehand because it'd be easier to talk about some of this stuff.
That's what. We all planned it like this. With the blog not coming out yet, we wanted to do our best to try to confuse you and get the information earlier,
That's fine. There are some things that are going to have certain shards that other things might not.
Okay.
But is that map specific?
I think they're...
Most likely not.
Yeah, the question, of course, comparing it to like the guaranteed legendary weapons or whatever that we have now on specific maps. But, I mean, that'll be good, too, though. I mean, we don't want to... like, I'll be honest. I mean, right now, I'm not playing any maps really that don't have the chance to drop a 750 piece.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be nice to be able to just play whatever we want and not, not be as concerned with having to grind the same map over and over again.
Gers Plays has been, I think that's the guy who's been asking the question several times. Asked, will there be a cap for defense attack speed? The honest answer is we don't know yet. Design is going through the range and speed stat balancing, I believe this weekend. Got in the... Right now the balance is in for the original 4 heroes and Abyss Lord, I think, went in earlier today. And then a separate pass on speed and range and what all that's going to entail is happening. If not this weekend, then the next week.
Nice. I'm excited about that too. I mean, of course, defense speed being such a huge aspect of the original game. I can't wait to see stuff flying again. That's going to be awesome. I mean, you would think that there would almost have to be some sort of soft cap with every stat. But of course, I'm not the developer.
Yeah, I would imagine there being soft caps, mostly because there were issues in DD1 where when everything could shoot incredibly fast, then everyone just built ballistas because they also could shoot through everything, were incredibly strong. So it kind of broke some of the intended kind of categories for different defenses. So I would imagine there being soft caps, but that's still kind of, we're still figuring that out.
Very nice. Elandrian and Blacksmith both teased a little last week about combining awesome, different, what previously were passives that we weren't able to combine onto the same item. Teased a little bit about how we'll be able to make that happen. Do you know if we'll get any more information on exactly what shards will be available before the update, or do you think it'll come at update time?
Something we really want to do with this update is that we don't want to ruin a lot of the surprise. Like right now, our community testers are playing, and it's been so much fun to see them testing out the different shards and the different combinations of them that they didn't expect would work. And that's something we want to keep, so that's probably not information that we are going to bring, kind of deliver to you. We kind of want you to discover that when you play the update.
Well, that'll definitely be a big part of the fun on day one, is figuring out all the new stuff.
I do. I have a task on myself though, which is sometime after the update to kind of look in on the wiki and see if all of the shard information is there or not. I want to provide ways for players to update the wiki as they find stuff, and then I can help out after a while if maybe there are some things the community hasn't found yet to kind of help complete the information. But I'd rather that come from the community rather than from Trendy.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be quite the task too. I mean the more people that can get in the mix to give quality information, the better off the wiki will be for certain.
Yeah, exactly. We might start it off with some basic information, some basic shards, and then kind of get the ball rolling, as it were. But
here's a interesting question: will there be shards that lock out other shards? Like, for example, on the Mystic with the split Vipers and the ramp up spheres that we have now.
So by lock out other shards, what do you mean? As in they counteract the effect of another?
Yeah, where if you use this shard, you can't equip this shard or something along those lines.
That's a great question. I don't have an answer to that one. Let's see if Blacksmith is online real quick. Let's see if I can get you guys an answer to that.
Then a lot of people are asking about the Gun Witch, which I know it was discussed last week in the dev stream that the Gun Witch would not have any relic positions with no defenses. I guess my question would be, it would be kind of cool if there was something to augment 5 through 8. And is there anything that, anything that's set now that would do that? Here's a Landrian.
So yeah, the Gun Witch will not equip relics. When this update comes out, she won't have extra slots to equip anything that impacts those abilities. She will be on the same page as all the other heroes from a DPS perspective, because she still does equip all of the armor that all has shard slots and the weapon that has shard slots. So she's not at a disadvantage there. But in terms of anything special or unique made specifically for the Gun Witch, no, not in this update. We don't have plans, but with how often people have been bringing out the Gun Witch in the streams and in the comments of the things that we've talked about, I can see that being a conversation that we have after the update comes out. Because I mean, that's a question we're going to have to answer for any other hero that has either DPS only or maybe defense only, which I don't think we have any heroes planned that are just defense only, but as of right now, I believe the Barbarian is DPS only, and of course the Gun Witch is DPS only.
Right. One of the things that stuck out for me right away, thinking about the Gun Witch, is, the Gun Witch is going to get that additional ownage, not, having all of the, all of the additional levels to put into without having to focus on putting anything into defense points, into any sort of defensive abilities. So, there should be a lot of interesting combinations for the Gun Witch for sure.
Elandrian answered this in the chat earlier, but I just wanted to double confirm with Blacksmith told me that as of right now, there are no shards that when equipped will stop you from equipping other shards, but that's not like a hard and fast design philosophy, so that could change in the future, but as of right now, none of the shards that are in the game would stop you from equipping other shards.
Okay, awesome. And here come the Man and Machine questions.
Oh man,
the Man and Machine is just awesome. I actually, just as kind of a little private joke to myself, I did a little beginner's tutorial playlist, and I used the Man and Machine as the thumbnail for the playlist, knowing that any beginner would not have any idea what that was. But I only had one person out of, I don't know, 20 videos or whatever. There was one person that brought up, hey, why are you using the Man and Machine as your thumbnail for this? That's just an awesome looking hero. That's one I'm going to be definitely having fun with on day one when it finally does come to the game.
The Man and Machine was hands down my favorite hero whenever the game was a MOBA. And then we actually had like some merchandise made with some of the new heroes back when we went to PAX. So right now I'm still using my Man and Machine mouse pad. And it's so nasty now, but it has not weathered the storm quite as well as it should have. But I love the Man and Machine.
That's
so fun.
That's another question a lot of people have been asking me, since I live so close to Seattle. Is Trendy going to be at any of the? Well, I know PAX South just happened, but is Trendy going to be at any of the other PAX events this year that you're aware of?
So at the moment, we don't have any plans. It's been way too long since we've gone to PAX, though. The last one we went to was PAX South. It was actually the first year PAX South, so that was, 2015?
Yeah.
That was the last expo that we went to as a company. Some of us have gone personally, but yeah, no plans at the moment. But I'll ask again. I really want to go to PAX Prime. That's the best of the PAXs. If you haven't gone to PAX and you get the choice to go to any of them, you got to go to PAX Prime. It's right before the holiday, so all of the major AAA developers are bringing out the big guns to let you play them early, and they have the coolest panels, and it's honestly the best convention center that PAX is hosted at. So
yeah, PAX Prime is I had a little there was a little shenanigans with me in a parking garage downtown. Obviously nothing to do with the convention center, but I had some sketchiness go on. Oh man.
Oh man.
You know that 6 o'clock, like the showroom floor ends at or closes at 6, but the convention center itself is still open till like midnight or whatever for gaming and whatnot. Well, anyway, at 6 o'clock, the wife and I rolled out to go get a little dinner, and the underground parking garage people locked us in, and were like real sketchy about whether or not they were going to let us out.
What?
Yeah, and I mean, there was a lady that was at, we're at the little booth to get out the door, and the teller that's working there just refused to turn around. So I got out and I just beat on the glass, and I'm like, hey, I got cash right here. I don't care if you put it in your pocket. Just open the door. And she finally did.
Like, what were they gonna do if they locked you in all night?
It was really sketchy. Like, the security guard, you hit a little after hours, which why would 6 o'clock be after hours to begin with? But after hours, you hit a little buzzer, and a security guard talks to you through an intercom. And the security guard, told us to go around to the side in this alley. It's like, nah, man, we're not going to go around the side in the alley.
That's wild.
But somebody left just as we were trying to get in, so it worked out where we could sneak through the door. But it's like, man, sketchiness here. But downtown, major metropolitan area, you could expect that sort of thing.
Thankfully, I haven't dealt with that, but yeah, all the times that I've gone to PAX Prime, or just to a PAX, I think, has been mostly walking distance, so I haven't had to deal with sketchy parking attendants who are going to harvest your organs after 6 p.m.
Oh yeah, we did. The wife and I both had a week off of work, so we went and did some random things in the area, and then hit PAX on Saturday, Sunday. And yeah, it was obviously it was an awesome experience. That was my first PAX. Now, I grew up in the Baltimore, D.C. area, and I went to all the smaller conventions we had there, but that was my first time going to PAX the year before last, and it was just awesome. I even got the wife to wear a Pokemon dress.
That's awesome. Man, I miss PAX. You're making me miss PAX so much.
It is a lot of fun. I mean, you get that many people in one room that are all geeking out. It's just awesome. So, the Destroyer, I think we're going to get some more info on that soon, but asked if there's going to be new enemies coming out. I mean, we already saw the teaser images, so we know that there's at least one.
I can confirm that there are 5 new enemies coming in the update.
Nice, there you go. 5 new enemies. So we're just about to the end of Trendy Friday Fun. I wanted to leave you with one question just to kind of make you think. And that is, on day 1, the first time you load into Dungeon Defenders, after playing the update, what 4 heroes will be in your deck for your first map?
Let me think about this for a second. Not based on balance, right? You're not trying to corner me on who you think.
Yeah, I guess
I can't say
like
who the best
me personally. I've always loved Squire blockades, so I'm gonna have a Squire Waller, and I really like cannons and the heavy cannonballs. So I'm gonna definitely have a Squire in my deck that's focused on walls and cannonballs, and it's just. I'm not trying to ask you anything regarding like the balance or anything like that. Just, I guess, what would be your favorite 4 that you're going to be the most excited to play right out of the gates?
Mystic would probably be the first one in my deck. I really love her. I'm really hoping that she's in a really great spot when the update comes out. I do tend to go Squire for blockades, but in the update, I would like to try something different. So I'm gonna try Abyss Lord and try his walls instead of Squire. Just kind of go out of my comfort zone for a bit. I would also put Dryad and Gunwitch as my fourth.
That'd be an awesome combo.
I would probably do Gunwitch DPS still, just because all of her abilities allow her to deal with so many different things. Abyss Lord for his walls. I probably also would like to try out just Abyss Lord as a DPS as well. Because, since he's got his hero gear and his defense gear, he should be able to do kind of the dream of having an Abyss Lord build and also attack and direct command and it all feeling good. I'd like to test that out and see how that is.
That'll be awesome. I'm stoked about the Abyss Lord too, and I'm a big fan of archers, and just the way it looks. I mean, I know it's not the summoner, I know, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I really like his kit. It's a lot of fun. I like the Colossus, and I should probably use it more often. It's a lot of fun
definitely.
to move around and just shit on everyone.
So anyway, guys, thank you all for coming out, and thanks again for letting me co-host Trendy Friday Fun with you. It was a good time.
Yeah, thanks for hosting, and obviously we love all of the work that you've been doing. We love all of your content. Definitely want to keep that up. And you clearly have a passionate and dedicated community here who loves watching you.
Well, it's easy.
Sounds so creepy.
It's easy to do when you're an addict. And whatever. It's the first thing I do in the morning when I wake up, and it's usually the last thing I do when I go to sleep is play a little DD2. So maybe at some point I should try to consult counseling.
Well, hopefully when this update comes out, you still remember what the outside world looks like.
Oh yeah.
But hopefully if we do our jobs right, you will.
Oh, my real life friends have been giving me a hard time about that for years now, about how the second the internet became a public thing, Juice stopped going outside. And it's partially true. I'll admit it.
If you're still watching, we're gonna have a blog in the next hour or two on our website that talks more about the new difficulties and a little bit more about the new enemies coming out. Or I should say, we're probably just going to focus on one of the new enemies, and then we'll be talking about the others and the time to come before the update comes out. And just to reiterate, if you didn't hear at the beginning, we don't have a release date for the update just yet. It is still coming soon. Right now, we're implementing final features and testing and bug fixing everything. So once we have a clear picture of where everything is, then we'll have a release date to share. And if you're interested, hopefully Nightbot doesn't kill me. If you're interested in helping us test the update, you can join the remote playtesting group. Yeah, that's what I thought. The remote playtesting group, you can email Danny, that's DANI, _MOORE, Danny.Moore at trendyent.com. You can look at our last blog if you don't remember the email. It's down in the questions. You can join and you can help us play test. We're going to need a lot of input on where balance currently is, on how everything feels right now, how you feel about the newest features. We've already iterated on one of our features based on the feedback. We've actually two features so far, which is crazy, in the past week based on our player feedback. So definitely, if you want to make sure that it's as fun as possible, join that group. We'd really appreciate it.
Well, guys, you all heard it. Get your auto refresh going.
That sounds good.
Because we'll have some fresh info coming within the next few hours. So that'll be awesome to see. But anyway, thanks again for everyone for coming out, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everybody.